Hey, look at you, Ruben.
I'm ready. No, I don't know what impersonation, Carl Weathers impersonation. I won't do because I can't do one. But I'm ready. I'm ready.
You're looking good, Ruben. All right, let's do this. We're ready to go.
Win.
Toe to toe. Ready to go.
Ready to go. So, Ryan, you said that you were going to record from my living room, which is, I guess, kind of true because I'm in my living room, but we're not in my living room.
No, I am not with you in the living room. First off, how do I sound? Loud and clear? How's my voice?
Well, your voice is your voice, but you're talking about quality of sound.
I'm referring to the quality of sound. How is the quality of my voice sound?
About 80%.
For real?
I didn't even hear you say what.
Okay, stand by. Huh. How do I sound?
I heard that. How's my quality?
Good. Can you hear this?
Yeah. Everything's good now.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. If I don't hear you, I'll just say I don't hear you.
All right. Well, what can we say? Welcome to Going the Distance, the Rocky Series podcast. I am Ryan, one of the hosts.
And I am Ruben. And it looks like we're both doing a Mickey impersonation.
Yeah. I hear stupid things better.
You're hearing me. I'm the stupid thing. All right. I'm very excited for this. I literally just watched some of Rocky 2. I feel I'm ready. Oh, hold on a second.
Right.
Hold on a second.
Oh, go ahead.
We didn't even follow the fact that you're not here, why you're not here.
Okay, continue with that story. I think our listeners are dying to know why I am not in your living room. Go ahead.
Snow.
Yes. So snow prevented me from driving my car to Ruben's house. When there's snow in our city of Victoria, we panic and we can't drive in it.
Well, do you know what? I took my daughter to her music lessons tonight. And, on Jacqueline Road, right in front of the Max there, there's a little bit of a hill. I was stopped at a red light, and then it was time to go. My tires were spinning.
Oh, yeah. It's legit. It's not safe. If your car's not equipped to handle any kind of slick or sleet, it's legit. You should not drive in it. So, hey, welcome to today's recording. So the goal today is we're recording episodes 31 and 32. Episode 30 was just released today. Yeah, we're doing a double header.
No. You're cutting out.
I am?
Yeah, I didn't hear you say that. You're cutting out, brother.
Okay. For our two viewers, stand by.
Well, while they're standing by, I'll talk to them. Hi. So do you take out your headphones, Ryan?
How's this sound better?
The same.
Really? Sounds the same.
Well, that was better. Well, let me just move forward. If I don't hear you,
okay,
I'll put up I'll say I can't hear you. I'll make some type of gesture. But yeah, let's ding. Let's get this show on the road. Let's get this party started.
No, don't ding ding. Ding ding is the end of our episode. So cue the music.
That's what I meant to say. All right, here we are. Well, first of all, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Ruben? How's things in Canada?
Very good.
We don't have Trump in Canada. He's doing pretty good, isn't he?
Yeah. Orangey glad you asked about him. That's a dumb joke. I just saw this picture of him today. Like, he's really orange.
Orangey glad that he went to the tanning booth today?
Now, is that orange from tanning, or is it from like a spray? Is it a Makeup? I don't know. I don't know my orange.
I'm not sure. Hey, Ruben, are you part of the chat so you can see the chat as well?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so you go to our actual YouTube link. Make sure you mute the feed because you'll hear it's a delay. So one of our listeners is a guy named. So let's give a shout out to Geek USA Podcast. These guys they're a new podcast. They're starting out. They probably have as many viewers or listeners as we have, or about the same, but that's fine. And yeah, so they're again, it's Geek USA Podcast, and yeah, they're really cool. So Geek USA Podcast says that
Geek USA Podcast.
Yeah, he said that the audio quality for you is solid and steady. His is good, but not as steady. Who's not? Ruben's is not as good, or Ryan? Ryan's in the blue.
The bald one or the haired one?
Yes. This is very thrilling for our two viewers, but that's okay. They know we're just working out some kinks here.
So I'm not sure where the typing is.
Okay, so you go to the actual YouTube link of the. So if you were to watch this on YouTube, like, you're not part of the chat, right?
Oh, where do you find that?
Okay, let me just Control C. I'll put it in the Google Play chat, and you should be able to click on that. You see the chat in our Google Play? I'll also send it to you via Facebook. That's okay. There's a chat. It's basically, we have a chat in Google Chat. We have a chat in YouTube, and I guess now we have a chat on Facebook. Sorry, guys. We'll get there. We're just setting up here. So via Facebook, Ruben, I sent you the actual YouTube feed of this current chat.
Okay, I got the link. Thank you.
Okay, so when you get there, make sure you mute that feed because it's a delay. But you can see the chat. You can see the chat. Already. All right.
Oh, there's live chat. Okay, there's Geek USA. Hey, guys.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so he's saying Ruben, the bald one, that's Ruben, is not as steady. So, my voice is better. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm glad yours is better because you got more info on the Rocky podcast.
No. But that's good because I hear you good. I hear you pretty good too, so it's all fine. I did switch mics before. It was set to default to the laptop mic, but now it's the big snowball microphone now.
Okay.
All right. So where we left off. So today we actually released a new episode. James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd. That was an incredible interview. Wouldn't you say, Ruben?
Loved it. Like talking to him. So there's a reason why he's got a career.
Yes, James Rolfe has a career with his Angry Video Game Nerd, Cinema Scare. We do not have that same career.
No, we have different careers. And what's your career?
Well, I'm in the Navy. Yours, Rube?
I have a children's play center. Life is interesting sometimes. All right.
And on the side, we do the Rocky podcast. So we did that interview with James Rolfe. It went really well. It's out today. It's live. It's published. The James Rolfe interview, episode 30. Check it out. It's really good. So today it's just back to me and Ruben, just the two of us talking about Rocky. And where we left off, episode 29 was Rocky and Mickey agreed to do the fight, to train together, and Adrian was not on board.
No. But does she change her tune?
Well, we'll get there. She doesn't change it for a while. Okay, so the first scene after they leave is, I got right here, is the press conference scene, which is a really, the Rocky 2 press conference scene is actually a fan favorite, I think, amongst many people, because here we see Apollo in full angry mode.
When I was watching it,
go ahead.
Sorry, you cut out, Ryan. I didn't hear you.
Go.
All right. So when I was watching it, I couldn't help but think of Ali with the way Apollo talked, the lightning comment. And fun fact, did you know that Ali did a private screening with that for Rocky 2?
I didn't know that. Go ahead and talk about how that went down.
Anyways, Muhammad Ali was a fan of the Rocky movie, so he did a private screening with Siskel, I think. Roger Ebert, I think he did a private screening with. Anyways, and he enjoyed how Apollo, the oomph that Ali had.
The same type of swagger and attitude.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a mystery per se that Apollo was patterned after the Muhammad Ali personality.
Yeah, I guess it'd be pretty flattering to see a feature film with hats off to him, or to yourself. I think that'd be kind of flattering.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, I actually dislike that personality, that trait, that aggression that Apollo had. I know in the sense he's kind of the bad guy because you're rooting for Rocky. But I know that's what kind of gives somebody the oomph. But I relate more to Stallone, or to Rocky's character. How about you?
Well, yeah, you and I are very similar. We were obviously raised by the same parents. And that's a bit of the the nurture part of our life. Of course, you and I have different personalities in general. But that being said, we were raised to be kind, to show respect, to appreciate other people's differences or weaknesses even, and to help out people. So there's a reason why I'm probably not in competitive sports. There probably is a reason. Like though I like a good competition, I like a good battle, but here's the thing. I'm actually wearing, if you can see in the podcast, I'm wearing a Montreal Canadiens sweater. So this is a team that in the NHL that I really like, really root for. But I'm so terrible sometimes when my team is like trouncing another team, even though like if my team's winning, there's a part of me that feels empathetic towards the team that's losing. I'm weird that way. I don't go, destroy them. I almost kind of like a closer game sometimes, or an overtime win, like that kind of victory than just a trouncing. I kind of feel bad for the team that's getting destroyed. I don't know what that means, but.
Well, I think you just recognize they're just people just trying to win too and make a living, and
yeah, I like that.
Winning of other people losing is a gross feeling, really.
Well, right. You want to see a good competition. Obviously, you look at MMA, like the fighting, UFC fighting. Like you see some of these fighters, they're incredible shape, incredible athletes, but there's a reason why they have a weight class, because you want to see a good fight. You don't want to see a 250 pound Neanderthal destroy somebody who could be a very good athlete, a very strong 100-pound person, but the weight class would destroy the other weight class. So you don't want to see a destruction. You want to see a good competition. Yeah. So regarding Rocky, I think we're seeing that. I think in this movie, in Rocky 2, what we're seeing is Apollo at the press conference saying, in the first fight in Rocky 1, I took it lightly. So he's even saying, maybe he's making excuses, that could be argued, but he's saying, I took the match lightly. Rocky got lucky. He went the distance with me. He got lucky. Nobody goes the distance with Apollo Creed. Rocky did that. So this fight, I'm coming in, no jiving, he said, no fooling around. Yeah, like it's basically no party time USA. I'm going to come in, I'm all business, and I am going to destroy him in front of his home crowd at the Philadelphia Spectrum. So, because the question was asked to Apollo, like, why are you holding this match at the Philadelphia Spectrum? And his response was, because I want this man's hometown see him destroyed in his neighborhood. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, that's real. It's a real heel. No, that's what made him a good heel, I guess.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that he's a bad guy. I know what you meant by that, but he's the antagonist. Like, we don't want to like Apollo in this movie. In the first movie, we didn't mind him in the first movie. In fact, we kind of liked him because he gave Rocky a chance that only Apollo could give Rocky. And we saw Apollo's bravado, his arrogance, and rightfully earned. He was the champion of the world, and he's never lost a fight. So he did take that first match lightly. But now we're seeing the Apollo, that hungry, and dare I say, he has that eye of the tiger right now. He's angry and he's hungry, and he wants to erase the memory of that quote unquote lucky first fight. So the reporters then asked Rocky, Rocky, how do you feel about having this match in Philadelphia at the Spectrum? And his answer was, well, I'm happy because it's close to my house.
Yeah. I like his whole demeanor in the press conference. For me, it's the best way to approach life. Have a little humor. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't really have anything to add to it other than relate to it. I like the question of, like, what is it that you're going to buy?
Yeah, I wrote down the things that he listed that he was going to buy. I wrote them down verbatim. You ready?
Machine for Paulie. Perfume for Adrian. Some hats. And a statue for his church.
Yeah.
How did I do?
Yeah, you did pretty good. First thing you said was he has to pay the rent.
Oh, yeah. Pay the rent.
Which I think is funny because he bought the house, so it's not rent; it's mortgage. But maybe he's just so used to calling it rent throughout his life. But he's got to pay the mortgage. But the reporter though says, Rocky, this is why I love editing. She said, Rocky, you're being given a very substantial pay for this fight. And they don't ever say how much he's given for this fight, but I can only imagine how much it was, because in the first fight, it was $250,000 for that fight. Now, this is a rematch. And I know, look, I don't even watch boxing that much. And I don't watch UFC that much. But I know enough that when there's a rematch, when somebody feels like they should have won and they didn't, that's the storyline type thing, just like we're seeing in this movie, that the rematch brings in mucho dollars, and the payout, I think it's anywhere from, like, I've heard some numbers as high as, in today's money, like $200 million for one fight. Is that too high, or am I saying that wrong?
I don't know. It's probably something substantial. He's making a pretty penny.
Yeah, so he's going to pay the rent.
Yeah.
He's getting perfume, motorcycle, and we see that motorcycle in Rocky 3.
Yeah. Motorcycle.
He's going to buy Muppets.
I like how he mentioned, like, he got Kermit the Frog and Muppet, but Bert and Ernie, those are puppets. They're not Muppets.
Well, yeah, it's funny. If the Sesame Street and the Muppets, they come from the same family. We know it's a Jim Henson puppet, but the Sesame Street and the Muppets are the same family of puppets. So he's not wrong.
Creator. No, I see. It's like saying is Pearl Jam Garden.
Say that last part again. You broke up there.
Okay. Remember Temple of the Dog, the band? It had members of Soundgarden and Pearl Jam. It's a different entity. Though there's some shared creation there, it's not the same. So I take issue with calling Bert and Ernie a Muppet. Same creator, same vein, but they're not Muppets. Just like Chris Cornell is not in Pearl Jam.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to agree to disagree, but I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Really, you still agree with that? Oh,
no, I hear you. It's
good.
So where does Fraggle Rock? Where does Fraggle Rock end up?
That's Fraggle Rock. They're not Muppets. They're just like they're a Fraggle Rock's Fraggle Rock. Muppets is Muppet. Sesame Street, Sesame Street.
All right.
That's all. But anyways, yeah, I had a chuckle from that.
And the other thing I like was the statue for the church. I don't think we ever saw the statue that he wanted to buy, or what it was going to be, or what it was going to be of. But that's pretty cool. Like, and I was actually
want to get back to the community.
Yeah, exactly. He was giving back to the community, which was really cool. And what I liked about this too was this is 1979. You know, we're kind of spoiled with today. We're kind of spoiled with today's technology. And the things you get, like 4K high-def TVs, video game systems, just the electronics out the yin-yang, the places you can travel, like even like roller coasters, amusement parks, the places you can visit and the things you can do when you visit these places, it's just that much greater than 35 years ago. And so it's kind of interesting to hear the shopping list that somebody would have in 79. I think
that was interesting. You're right. So what would your shopping list be?
Let's say the pay cut was 20 million, very similar. I've always fantasized about that money. You know, when you get kind of like, what would I do if I received $100 million? The first thing would be, let's say it was 100 million, something very substantial. Pay off, of course, not just pay off my house. I'd get a new house. And then what I would do is I'd privately message my 3 brothers, obviously, and my parents, and I would just say, tell me the number you need to be at zero, whatever that number is. One brother might be X number of dollars, the other brother is Y number of dollars, and then whatever number they give me, and they wouldn't know this. Now they're going to know this because, but I'll never get $100 million, so it doesn't matter. But whatever number they give me, then I would just double it. So if they said I needed $50,000 to finish off my mortgage, I would give them $100,000. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Something like that. And then money for the kids, you know, like a little stipend, just like Donald Trump got from his father, maybe $1 million for each kid. So when
stipend.
My apologies.
Not stipend.
Stipend.
My
well, it's just,
gosh.
What's going on? You're really upset about that. Say that again.
Oh, is there a delay?
You. Yeah.
Here. I'm in my living room. I still gone?
You're still there. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, good.
Stipend. Tomato, maybe. I don't know. So, yeah, that's what I would do. What would you do with the money? Something similar or?
The exact same thing of, okay. I literally had the exact same thought. Watching the movie The Jerk a couple of days ago, where he grew up as a poor black boy. Have you seen this movie, The Jerk?
Yeah, of course. I'm listening. I just don't want to step on you because it cuts you out.
Okay, so he grows up in this little shack, and then he makes money. They built a bigger shack. It was like identical, but a bigger shack. But you pay off your house, well, you'd get it just a new house. I pictured bigger, but the exact same. I don't know. I like the movie The Jerk. It's one of my favorite comedies. I don't know. People that would just kind of live the same because more uncomfortable than comfortable if I lived like a king.
Right. I don't think I can live Trump style. That's too much. It's gaudy to me. It's just too much to have gold this and gold curtains and gold plates and to me
golden it's showers,
golden shower curtain rods. You know, anything that's golden. Just, you know, why is it why is it that people that are rich have bad hair? Trump, Bill Gates. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. Bald guy today at work, bald tips of grooming. Anyways, we talked about how like the crazier somebody is, if there's sideburns up on the side, people will go to like the middle of the ear, the crazier, a little higher, glasses, and then you got Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Hitler, Kim Jong-il, and Trump, the common thread for these three individuals is hair issues.
the There's obviously something loose there.
Yeah, something's weird about the fact that Genghis Khan, for example, I think he had bad hair, didn't he?
Genghis Khan? Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, Genghis Khan, did he not have bad hair as well?
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Yeah, there's always something weird about hair. The weirder the person. It's a scientific fact. Yeah,
it is.
So, anyways, your hair is very normal, Ryan.
Well, your hair is normal too. The lack of hair is normal too. You don't try to pretend that you have hair when you don't, and that actually is normal behavior.
Yeah, absolutely. But trying to overcompensate with a swirl or something, or some type of. I don't have to have Marine Force One's helicopter off while I enter the scene. Okay. Speaking of,
just wait 1 second. This is just a technical question. For 1 minute, do you have your microphone? Or you don't have a microphone plug in for your laptop? Is that what you said last time?
No, I can try my cell phone, see if there's better quality on that.
Just try it, yeah. Because when you were talking to me at Tumble Bumps, it was really good, comparatively speaking, because the built-in mic I think was better.
All right.
All right, just stand by. Our 3 viewers that are watching. This obviously will be edited out on the podcast itself, but just a little bit of technical difficulty. We're just going to see if we can get Ruben on a different microphone.
So I guess I have to hang up here, right?
Yeah, just send me a Facebook message when you're ready for the reinvite. Well, actually, I'll just reinvite you right away. You just come in when you're ready.
All right.
Hey, guys. It's the one-man show. All right. So, hey, thanks to our 3 viewers. That's great. That's fantastic. I can't believe that many people are watching. So, to those that are watching, basically what we're doing here is Ruben and I have our weekly podcast that we do, and this is actually what a real recording looks like. If you do a podcast, or if any of you guys do a podcast, this is kind of what it looks like. It's just talking, and then you take sound file and you edit it, and it doesn't sound half as bad. That's the goal. You take out the ums and the bad jokes that don't work, the stories that don't work, things like that. So yeah, if you ever want to do your own podcast, that's how it goes. The way you hear on the actual podcast is never as smooth as the actual recording, of course. All right, so I just sent the invite to my brother. We'll see if his phone one works better. And I'm just sending him the invite. How's everyone's day going? Good? Let's see if you guys are talking on the so many windows open here. Where's the feed? Oh, there it is. All right, there we go. Oh, hey, Geek USA podcast. Another shout out to Geek USA podcast. Yes, it is a classic Martin film. Steve Martin, great actor, great comedic actor. Oh, he's telling me to try again. Stand by, guys. Sorry, guys. 1 sec. See if the third time's a charm to get him connected. You too can be part of our Google chat if you want. Come on in. Spread the word.
All right, Ryan.
Hey, Ruben, welcome back. Yes, I think so. Let's just give it a second to sync up. The picture's definitely clearer, that's for sure.
Weird. Should I take them out? I didn't have them in before.
It's up to you. I don't think it matters. Sorry, it's about the same. I don't know. Oh, hear myself.
Put the headphones back in?
Yeah. Now we know. All right. So while Ruben's getting his headphones back in. So we just talked about the shopping list that Rocky's going to do. This guy loves to shop, that's for sure. Yeah. Okay, so the reporters asked Apollo during the press conference, they asked, hey, did the Southpaw jinx, I say again, did the Southpaw jinx, did that have something to do with Rocky maybe throwing off your game a little bit? And I'm not a boxing expert, believe it or not, even though I'm a Rocky fan. I don't know all the ins and outs of boxing. But my understanding is when you're a left-handed fighter, you jab with your right. I think that's how it goes. So my understanding is when you're jabbing with your right, then you come in with a power hit with your left. So southpaws lead with their right. And if you're opposite, if you're right-hand fighter, you're jabbing with your left, and you come in with a big strength on your right. So in order to block, so if it's like a mirror. So if both boxers are jabbing with the same, they're like this, it throws off the boxing because they're not going alternating punches. So I guess Apollo in his career probably didn't come across a lot of left-handed fighters, and that may have really accounted for Apollo being kind of thrown off by his being a left-handed fighter. So that's my understanding of how it works. But then Apollo, of course, says Southpaw jinx nothing. He just got lucky.
Just going to backtrack for a moment. Them doing it in Philadelphia, because the original script, I'm not sure if you know this or not, being in Rome. They wanted to fight in a not Polo, sorry, it's Rocky's, heritage, the Italians.
Oh, I see. Okay, so to kind of, I see. They wanted to fight where he came from in Rome, but obviously production costs would have been too much. So they just said his hometown of Philadelphia. That's cool. I did not know that.
Yeah. Little trivia for you guys.
Well, that's Ruben with the trivia.
Sorry. I'm a little worried that there's going to be a delay with us talking over each other. So with the press conference, I just like how Stallone was, just the demeanor, the timbre of his voice. Yeah.
Yeah, he was very, Stallone or Rocky, his demeanor was probably a little bit overwhelmed. He's probably torn in a lot of different ways because, number one, he's relieved that he has money for his family. He's probably a little bit nervous because he's seen just how angry Apollo really is. He's seen like this guy is actually, he's angry. Because in fact, he says to Mickey at the end of the press conference, he says, he looks pretty upset. And Mickey's response was, well.
Yeah.
And then what was the last thing? But and then on top of that, so he's excited, he's nervous, and he's a little bit worried, and he knows still in the back of his mind, Adrian is not on board for this fight.
Yeah.
One other
frustrating. Yeah, go on.
Oh yeah, very frustrating. I mean, again, you and I are married. We both have women that we're married to, and we know that any kind of partnership, yeah. Well, yeah, it's okay, just to clarify.
I'm married. You said you and I are married. You said you and I are married.
Yes, we are married to. Yeah, to separate women. Yes, just to clarify. Yes, we're not from Virginia, and I can say Virginia because we have no Virginia listeners. We have nobody from Virginia that listens to us, so we can rag on them. I guess in the States, West Virginia or Virginia or something like that is it's known to be kind of an incestuous place, I think. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Maybe somebody.
Incest capital.
Oh, here we go. Incest capital of the U.S. This should be fun.
This is creepy even typing it. Arkansas is the incest capital of the United States of America.
I take it back. Virginia. Sorry, Arkansas. We're not from Arkansas. Yeah, all right, good. You better clear your cookies.
So, hey, speaking of shopping, in real life, okay, this is one of the things I like about Stallone and him portraying Rocky, okay? Because you think, where does it end? Where's it begin of Rocky and Stallone? What's autobiographical? I know the word autobiographical and what's not. Butt kisses his dog. The Trans Am. He also bought a Trans Am in real life. The same one.
Yeah, that's right. It's pretty cool. I thought you were going to say.
So you gotta think.
I thought you were going to say that he bought a Trans Am.
Anyways, I just thought it was good. It's kind of interesting that he really relates to buying those things, and a little insight to the man, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up because we've often talked throughout our podcast through previous episodes that there is definitely a correlation and parallel writing between Rocky, the character, and Sylvester Stallone, the actor, man. I mean, I think every movie, we've talked about it before, but Rocky 1, a desperate boxer, almost at his prime. Because if you think about it, when an actor reaches their prime, it's kind of like 25, 30, 33. That's their prime of when you're the most handsome or whatever. And then an athlete, it's about the same. Like athletes retire at 30, 33. And then Rocky 2, he kind of gets to rematch his career, so to speak. He gets to be on top. Then Rocky 3, he really is on top. And he's on top in the real world. And Rocky 4, he's like on top. This is like Sylvester Stallone's career was amazing in like 84, 85 to 88. And then Rocky 5 came out, and it kind of signaled a little bit of like, ooh, what happened here? His career kind of went down a little bit. Stop or My Mumble Shoot was out. Things like that were happening. And then he has some direct-to-video movies, and then Rocky Balboa came out, and a resurgence of his career because the movie was good. So there's been some real parallels between his own career and the character of Rocky. It's if it's not written in, it's pretty uncanny. I can't imagine he doesn't write it in.
He's pretty self-aware.
He would have to be. He's too intelligent not to be aware. If we can figure it out, I'm sure he's figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Geek USA podcast says that West Virginia is definitely one of those two. So we weren't totally wrong. And
one of those two of what?
The incest
places?
states. West Virginia or both. That's So hey, it's good to know. So there's I don't know how you can win that competition.
I think there's a way to win it, but you lose it. If you win that, you've lost.
That's true. So Geek USA did ask. Geek USA podcast did ask who's watching our feed here. There's 3 people watching, but he's the only one talking. The good news is we do have more than 3 people who download our episodes, but that's okay. This is fun. Appreciate you guys taking a peek and saying hi. All right, last part of this press conference, which is actually the best scene and the one that's most talked about throughout Rocky Talk regarding this press conference, was when Paulie says his lunch. I'm glad I can edit. When Paulie says his lungs, he's going to punch out. So there's Paulie. What I love about the scene is Paulie's sitting to the side. He's got his own chair to himself, and he's got his back he's got this plush chair, and he's sitting watching the press conference this way. Like he's got a view, the best view in the house. He's sitting there with a cigar, sitting down there with his hat, his suit, his cigar, like truly like a kingpin mafia member. And he's like, his lungs, he's gonna punch out. And then Paul looks over like, who is this guy? Why is he sitting there like this? And he actually says, who is this guy? Al Capone.
Al Capone.
It's just a great. And what I love about this scene is, again, it shows the writing prowess of Stallone, because this has to get written. Mm-hmm. They have to set up the scene. Okay, let's put the table out. Let's have the reporters over here. We're going to have Mickey, Rocky, Apollo, and his trainer staff. And then Paulie's going to be over there against the wall, sitting down, looking old gangster. And I just love it because that discussion took place. And I just wish we, the documentary that was never filmed for the making of these films, that dialogue, the storyboards, I think that would have just been amazing to see that type of dialogue. Like, and Paulie's like, or Burt Young's like, I could smoke a cigar and I could talk old gangster and I could be accused of being Al Capone. And then I'll say, I don't sweat you. Like, where does that come from? Is it all Stallone? Is Stallone the only one that writes this dialogue? Or is Burt Young offering that dialogue, I don't sweat you? So these are questions I have for Stallone. So Stallone, my apologies. Mr. Stallone or Sly, if you're listening, can you let us know? Did I lose you, Ruben? I think I lost my brother. That big rant. I think he just messaged me. Just wait 1 sec. I think that was him on Facebook said. I thought he was just like listening very, very attentively, and then. Okay, so he's gone. All right, gotta reinvite him. Stand by, guys. Stand by. You're being very patient. Hey, Geek USA podcast. My brother said that I cut out. It might be his end hearing me cut out. Did I cut out during my long spiel? By chance, did you hear me about the whole Paulie thing? Was that okay? So we're just inviting Ruben back here. Thanks for being patient, guys. We're just trying to get Ruben back. Like I said, we would usually be in the same room together, which is a little bit easier. Yeah, when technology permits. I was just wondering there, Geek USA. No, I didn't cut out. Or sorry, let me be more specific. Did you hear me the whole time? Okay, good. All right. Yeah, so Geek USA podcast. Sorry, who am I talking to? Which of the two hosts? Just so I can say your name, if that's okay. Because I appreciate your input here. Hey, Ruben, welcome back.
Thank you. Sorry, I left. I don't know what happened.
For some reason, it's your connection that seems to be the problem. The listeners are saying how's your connection? Are you close to the router, or I don't know how yours?
It's usually fine. My only thing is perhaps somebody else using the internet right now.
Okay, it's fine. It's inclement weather. That's the problem today. It's not anyone's. Ideally, you and I being in the same room is ideal.
It is.
So
podcast or not.
So we'll get through this. So
we'll go the distance.
We're gonna go the distance. We've got some good stuff here. There's no. I went on this big poly rant, and I thought you were listening intently because your face was like this. This is what I saw, and only our viewers would see this. But this was the face that I saw. And so I was like, "Whoa, wow, Ruben's really listening. He's not commenting or nodding his head or anything, but he's really listening to what I have to say." So I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
All right, so Carl said that.
Attention.
So we actually have a Geek USA podcast. We're plugging you a lot today, buddy. We're plugging you a lot. That sounds terrible. We're going to plug you. we're plugging you hard today, Carl. So Geek USA podcast is giving us good feedback on how we're doing. And like I said, they've got a new podcast. It's really good. And the reason why I know about them is because they did a Rocky. They ranked the Rockies. And we actually want to have.
You told me about them, yeah.
Yeah, and they did a really good job. I would have to re-listen to it and take notes because I want to go toe-to-toe with Carl, and I think it's James. Oh, man, you have to remind me. But I want to go toe-to-toe with these guys because there's some things I didn't agree with, and that's what makes a good conversation good. So, but they're really cool. They did they actually did this is off topic, but they did a Dream Theater. Not only did they do a Dream Theater episode, Ruben, okay, They did two.
Dream Theater, the band?
Yeah, Dream. So they're geeks, which is fantastic. I love geeks. We're geeks. But they did Dream Theater, the band. But not only did they do one episode. Dream Theater. They did two. It warranted 2 episodes. So pretty fantastic.
Of course it would.
Yes. So kudos to Geek USA podcast for doing Dream Theater. I will say I didn't watch that or listen to that one because I have about as much interest in Dream Theater as I do in Nickelback. Not saying they're the same talent. I'm just saying the same level of interest. All right. Is that a good plug for their show? But yeah. Okay, so let's move on from the press conference. The next scene, I really like this. The next scene, they're in Rocky's house, and they're watching the fight from the first film. They're studying the film from the first fight. Now, this is a very common practice. Sports teams do this all the time. They'll watch their own film from previous matches. They watch other teams they're about to play. This is the player. Hey, it's Super Bowl weekend, right? So they're studying the other team. So they'll be studying the other team, seeing who's weak, who's strong, where they can manipulate people's weaknesses, and where their own weaknesses are. Because it's just like anything. When you write a novel, it's hard to edit your own work because you don't see the mistakes from an outside perspective, right? And so anyways, they're watching the film of the first fight. But what I love about this, and there's no way they can get around this, is they're actually watching Rocky 1, the film. You know what I mean by that?
Funny.
Like,
yeah. I didn't even think of that.
So they're watching the Rocky 1 fight. They're like, okay, I forget the exact dialogue Mickey was using, but it's like, you fight terrible or whatever it was, and we're gonna work on this. So we need to give you fast speed, greasy lightning, fast speed. We're gonna make you, in order to beat the champ, you got to fight like a champ. And sorry, I just read a comment through off my. Ironically, I just read a comment on our feed there, and I just read, "You'll have a good life feel, fellas." And as I read that, it stumbled me up, and it wrecked the live feel. But that's okay. Okay, thanks, Carl. But no, I like the comments because it means, hey, that's why we're doing this. We want to hear what people have to say. Okay, so they're watching the film, and I just love how in movies, when every time they watch film of a previous event that happened in the film, they're watching the actual movie or else they have to like refilm the whole thing just to make it seem realistic. Anyways,
yes, kind of fun. So this is completely off topic, but I really want to bring it up. Okay, our mutual friend Kyle,
Superfan Kyle.
No, this is not Superfan Kyle. This is not Superfan Kyle. The one that lives.
Yep, got it.
So he messages me. Sorry, he says, "Team from Puff Daddy." The other way around. Did you say that again?
Yeah, say that again.
He wanted to know what came first, Puff Daddy or the Rocky theme.
Okay. Okay. That's not off topic because that's Rocky. Let me just repeat that so I understand what he's asking you. Is he trying to be funny?
No.
Is he trying to be
the actual?
So okay. So he's not trying to be funny or ironic. So he's asking, did Puff Daddy create the Rocky theme music, or did Puff Daddy sample the Rocky theme music? So what came first?
Yeah. Do you know what? I misquote him. I just found the message. He said, "Hey, is the opening song from your Going the Distance podcast?" Sorry, that was the question. I did not remember the question properly. Probably a dumb question, he says. And so I said yes and yes. The yes is from Rocky. A dumb question.
Well, there's no dumb questions.
Because I was going to... Oh, there are. I was asking, I only know that song from Puff Daddy. P. Diddy.
What song is that? What song does Puff Daddy sample?
Okay.
Are you going to find it?
Yeah.
Is it?
So anyways,
is it Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Pity? I pity the fool.
Hold on.
Check me out right here, yo. Yo, the sun don't shine forever, but as long as it's here, then we might as well shine together. Better now than never. Business before pleasure. P. Diddy and
Song. It's Notorious B.I.G., Busta Rhymes, and Puff Daddy.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Is it because it's horrible?
Well, yeah. Here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, no, it doesn't matter. Look, it doesn't sound like anything to me worth listening to over and over again. That's all.
Good for the money that I get my ass on. I never lose the passion to go platinum. Said I live it up to all the cash on. Ain't that funny? They should have used that in Creed.
Yeah, fair enough, I guess.
Yeah,
Well, no, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, there was Creed. To say Creed was a white movie, it really wasn't. It was, you know, it was. It had a lot of non-white players in the movie. It was a fantastic movie. But I think Stallone was the only. I think it was really the only white people in the movie. You know, it was a black director, obviously a black writer, black starring off. Adonis Creed by Michael B. Jordan. So, but that being said, and then the music in the movie was, I don't know what the term is, like hip hop or whatever the term is, but it wasn't like 80s metal music. It wasn't Survivor. Okay, it was a different style of music.
Yeah. Sorry.
So that being said, what I'm saying is, I wasn't a big fan of some of the sounds, like some of the music, because I'm just not a fan of that music. But maybe this would have been better. Maybe something like this would have been better. Kind of like sample sample the old sound a little bit. And I think they did a little bit, but I'd have to go back. Anyways, Creed's a great movie. I just want
to show you or listen to what like a white Creed would it sound like. It's all right. That's White Creed.
That's White Creed. Yeah, the White Creed would not have worked for that movie either. So I think they chose correctly. Okay.
All right.
So
enough on that. So I went so far off topic.
1 second.
I went off topic. Where were we?
Okay. Well, no, we just did the film. They're reviewing the film of Rocky and Apollo. So they want to get a feel of what Rocky needs to work on. So the next scene now is the famous scene where Mickey's yelling, or not yelling, he's saying, we need feed. Oh, sorry, we need feed. We need speed. Greasy, fast, lightning speed. So the next scene was the chicken chasing scene in the little area here. First off, where did Mickey get a live chicken? I don't. He's just got a live chicken. Like, where does this come from? He just, I got a chicken.
You probably know.
There's no like. Yeah, he might know he might know a guy, but he's holding the chicken, and of course Rocky says, I'd rather eat it than chase it. I'm a fighter, not a farmer.
Have you ever chased a chicken?
Say that again.
Have you ever chased a chicken?
Well, that's a great question. I was actually going to ask you. So you've asked me. I feel like I've been around chickens enough to know that if you start to chase them, I don't think you can catch them very well. But you have much more experience with chickens. So tell me, have you chased a chicken?
Oh yeah, many times. The first time was at our Uncle Noel's house up island when he had chickens. When I was probably 12, and they're fast. But yeah, then when I had chickens a couple times, and if you're gonna chase them, you have to kind of outsmart them.
So it's not about speed necessarily, but it's about outsmarting a peanut-sized brained animal.
Yeah.
Say that again.
That's my experience.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good, and I think Rocky eventually does that. But in this scene, he does not catch the chicken. He's out of breath. He can't catch the chicken, and of course, Mickey's like, "What's the matter? You can't catch a chicken? What's the matter with you?" He goes, "I feel like a Kentucky Fried Idiot." So this is basically what I call this sequence of scenes in the Rocky film is the non-inspired training sequence. We know that in the Rocky films, we have the training, we have the inspired training, and then we have the non-inspired training. In Rocky 1, we saw Rocky going up the steps for the first time, out of breath, drinking the raw eggs, can't really jog very well. And then Rocky 2, which we're doing now, Adrian's not on his side, so he's not inspired right now. He's going through, excuse the pun, he's going through the punches of training but his heart's not in it. Rocky 3, we know it's because he's afraid. So he's not training very well because he's afraid of Mr. T or Clubber Lang or both. and then Rocky 4, same idea because Adrian's in America, not with him. He trains better when Adrian gets there. Rocky 5, well, there's really no training for him because he's training Tommy Gunn. Rocky 6, I don't know if he had any real problems with training. I think, you know what? I think it was straight to training. I think at that he figured out, like, yeah, I'd better just train. But anyway, so it's just kind of interesting, the theme. You know, there's the failed training sequence, and then there's the good training sequence. So here we see Rocky now with his right arm tied to his side, and he's punching, like heavy punching, the punching bag with his left arm. So he's giving those hard jabs. So he's got to learn now to jab with his left. Like I said before, he's trying lead with his left and then go for his right. So he's trying to learn how to jab with his right. Sorry, correction. He's jabbing with his left.
Yeah.
And then Paulie's sitting to the side of the ring watching Rocky train. And Paulie's like, "What's the matter with my sister?" And Rocky goes, "Well, you know, Adrian don't like this nun. She started crying and everything." So you got Paulie, his brother-in-law, asking, you know, "What's the deal with my sister?" And Rocky's like, "She's being a woman. She's crying all the time." She started crying and everything. Well, number one, she's pregnant. And the hormones do get to pregnant women. I've been through a few pregnancies, so have you. And number two, what I find kind of funny is Mickey's standing in between these two, like, what is going on here? You guys are having this domestic stuff, you know. And he goes, what's with this? Yeah, what's with this domestic stuff? Jab till it hurts.
I wonder what Mickey's life was.
Well, yeah, there's no indication that I would assume that Mickey, if he had anything, he had a failed marriage, maybe two. No kids, or if he does, they don't talk to him. I would say the boxing is his life. His kids are the people in the ring. Rocky became like a son to him, so he probably really, I would assume he didn't have children because he gives the cufflinks to Rocky during this timeline of the Rocky films. We see it later in Rocky 5 in a flashback, but he gives the cufflinks that Rocky Marciano gave him. He gives them to Rocky. And I would assume that it's something a father would do to his son. So even if he had kids, they were out of his life. Or he never had them. I like to think he just never had them. I don't like to think that Mickey was the one to abandon his family. Or they all died in a fiery plane crash and he's the lone survivor. No, I don't know.
It's just an unanswerable question.
Well, it's funny how we never know the lives of a lot of these characters. We don't know Rocky's family. We don't know Paulie and Adrian's family. Yeah. We don't know Mickey's family. So the family, it's weird how the family is Mickey, Rocky, Adrian, Paulie, Apollo to some extent. So the films are about family, but we don't know anything about their families.
That's why I wish there was alternative movies where there's the Rocky film, Adrian film, or a Paulie film, and like then Rocky's a side character.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely agree. Hey, Rube, we still got these 3 viewers. This is incredible. So we're 1 hour in, but we've had a couple of technical errors. It took about 20 minutes. So we're almost, are we almost done the first episode? Episode 31? I don't want to ding do we have enough to ding here?
It's better to go under than over.
Okay, so we're midway through the failed training sequence. I guess we have enough for episode 31.
Yeah, I think so.
We had a lot of technical difficulties. How many? Maybe 20 minutes? Even if it was 20 minutes, which is a lot, it's still okay.
Let's not wear the people out.
Okay, Ruben, want to take us out of episode 31?
That's my yes. That was my yes. Okay. Is this being recorded?
Hey, everybody! Welcome to Going the Distance.
Hey, we did last episode.
Hey, Ruben, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. I was just saying that you're wearing the same thing you did the last episode.
Well, our listeners can't see that, but thank you for pointing that out. When you're a father with some kids, you wear the same stuff every day.
Yeah, I am a father with some kids. When's the last time you slept with your clothes on? Like the clothes that you wore out that day, not pajamas.
It's been a while. I would assume probably I have, as you know, twins, and I would assume probably when they were their first 6 months, when we got like zero sleep, many times during that time, falling asleep with whatever I wore for the day, I would fall asleep in. Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
yeah, anyways,
was that the trumpet? Was that the cue of the music for our intro? Was that the cue of the intro music?
I'm not sure.
So welcome to episode 32. I'm going to go on a limb here and say we don't get any interviews between episode 31 and 32. So
all right.
Cue the music.
Already did.
All right. Welcome, everybody. We're excited to continue our discussion of Rocky 2. We left off with Rocky chasing the chicken.
Yeah.
I was gonna say choking his chicken, but Rocky chasing the chicken, and and then he had his arm tied to his side because so it's good. So Rocky had his arm tied to his side, and he was jabbing with his left hand instead of his right. So, all right.
Little tidbit of fact. If I recall correctly, it's either like our mom or mom's mom or grandma. I think our grandma's left-handed. They had to tie her hand. Back in the olden days, if you're left-handed, they would tie her behind your back. Right.
That's actually true. They viewed left-handed individuals as broken, as that's not proper. You don't use your left hand.
Yeah.
Isn't it any wonder? Like, let's be okay. So this was our parents at that age. So when they were kids.
Yeah.
It's an amazing memory, Ruben. That's absolutely true. And people can Google this because I guarantee you'll find it. So yeah, when your parents or our parents were children, I won't say our parents because I don't want to. When our parents were young, other kids had their hands tied down to force them to use their right hand and not their left, because using the left hand, I guess, was viewed as a weakness or broken or wrong, or that's not proper.
Yes.
So can you say, is it any wonder that these same people in government, or I'm not trying to get political here, like still having troubles with women's and gay rights because when they were kids, left-handed was being bad. So we've come a long way. Like, let's give some credit where credit. Like, is there any wonder there was racism? Because if using your left hand was bad, can you imagine how somebody who's like has a different color skin must be? So
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It is crazy. So to be fair, you know, white people were broken in many ways. So we've come a long way. We've come a long way too, but we've come a long way. We, like, even as quote unquote white people, we did many stupid backwards. It's amazing. I'm amazed we got somebody on the moon, that we built the computer, that we, and I say we, that just means as humans, that we could even do this stuff, because we're so backwards in so many ways that I'm grateful that we have people smarter than me, obviously, or else we'd still be living in caves. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh yeah. You and I both. Hopefully different
I don't
caves.
think probably, yeah, we wouldn't.
I'd have my own cave. You would have your cave.
Yeah, and I probably wouldn't even get out of my cave. All right. So we cued the music. Oh yeah. So stand by. Wait 5 seconds. Go to the next scene here. See, the viewers that are watching, Ruben, they get to see how the sausage is packed. They get to see how we do this stuff, make it look like we know what we're talking about during the released episodes. So Paulie tells Rocky, hey. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of sausage, I'm gonna grab one from my fridge.
Okay,
that's all.
So Rocky and Paulie are continuing their talk about Adrian while Rocky's training, and as you can imagine, this is irritating Mickey. This, it is kind of rude. He's in a training what's I gonna say, regime, but routine or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's talking, and Mickey's like, "Can we get back to work? That would be nice. Let's work here. We're training. Remember, we're about to fight the champ here." So he's telling him to hit this bag and hit, jab it till it hurts. Go ahead. And Rocky's like, he's losing count. He was told to punch the bag 500 times. He's like, 7, 8. Where was I again? And then we cut to the next scene, and we see, but now it's Apollo. And Tony, he's holding the bag, and Apollo is just destroying the bag. Just, you can see the anger in his eyes, and he is just cheesed off. Like, again, I know it's acting, but there's part of me that wonders if Carl Weathers, like, he is looking very angry here. He's like, like, I love it. It's great acting.
It is. And then, I think Carl Weathers actually has a acting school. Is there a Carl Weathers have an acting school?
There is the Carl Weathers acting school. That's right.
Yeah.
Actually, you should just stay in the kitchen. The reception is really good there.
Oh, really?
It's better.
Where? Here?
I think so.
Oh. Okay, I'll sit here for a bit.
All right. I know you've when you're not comfortable, just do what you got to do. All right. So and then the next scene we see Apollo skipping rope, and he's doing, again, Carl Weathers / Apollo skipping rope, and it's really cool how in shape these guys are, man. Like, these are incredible.
When was the very best shape you've ever been in?
It's always today, brother. It's always today. I obviously teenager. I think 19, 20, 17 to 20. Those are the golden years. Those are truly the golden years. And they say, was it youth is wasted on the young or something like that?
Yeah.
You don't know what you have until you get older. Like, man, I see my teenage sons. I've got 2 teenage sons. They're so lean and mean, and they can eat whatever they want. They don't gain weight. It's like, man, don't you understand how amazing it is to be the shape that you're in? Yeah.
So, how much effort would it take for you to be in Carl Weathers or Stallone's shape?
Oh, it's easily what they do. It's 5-6 hours a day, personal trainer, personal chefs. There's no motivation because
reminds me. Sorry, we were talking earlier today about Bill Burr's recent special on Netflix.
Yeah,
remember he was talking about how, like, what needs to happen for you to have that 6-pack that goes down. It's crazy. Your whole life is dedicated to that.
Yeah, well, yeah. Where you're standing is very good, by the way. So just stand there all day.
Well, let's do it for the podcast.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it takes. Well, Seinfeld said it too in one of his bits, and maybe we'll do the audio drop at this point. But I think Seinfeld talks about in his book Sign Language that people that go to the gym and work out, like, what are they working out for? What weight or what activity are they doing outside the gym that requires that kind of brute strength and like, when you go throughout your day. Oh, we just lost a viewer. That's okay. It's late. Thank you for anyone that's going the distance with us tonight. You're amazing. But, we lost 2. I should have said anything. I should have given them excuses to leave. That's okay. Like I said, we're just recording this for the show, so. What was I going to say? Yeah, Seinfeld says, what are they working out for? Beyond being strong enough to do the activity that they do in the gym. Like, I'm all for personal health, taking care of yourself, yes. Absolutely. But yeah. So Apollo is he's on the next thing. He's on that bag that goes back and forth, like, perpendicular to the floor, and now he's working with a sparring partner. And he's just destroying his sparring partners. Like, he is taking out his sparring partners. Like, again, I'm not a big boxer. a boxing fanatic in the sense I don't understand all the ins and outs, and we still are trying very hard. Listeners, we are trying very hard to get a real like championship boxer who's been through the circuit on our show, because we want to ask some questions about sparring partners, training, what does Rocky Films get right and wrong. So we are working on it.
You know what? When Ryan says we, he just means he. I have done zero effort to get anybody that's a trainer on the show. Zero effort.
Well, Ruben, we appreciate your.
It's important to tell the truth.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry. All right. Well,
all right, I'll put effort in this. Okay.
You're gonna find
on that very topic of finding somebody who knows about boxing. I will put effort in. Stay tuned.
Okay. All right. We look forward to that. Who was the guy that was trained by Paulie? Is that where? Is that the? I mean, not Paulie's. But is that the angle you're going for?
Our previous. It is.
Okay. Well, say no more.
That's who we'll make an effort with.
Okay. I look forward to that. That'd be fantastic. I don't want to spoil it or sell ourselves short by announcing this, but yeah, by all means, let's do it. Okay. So Apollo is now pounding on his sparring partners. Now, sparring partners are just that. They're sparring partners. It's a chance for the boxer to work out his moves, his rhythm. It's basically like a step up from shadow boxing, to have something in front of you that moves to and can block and give you some attacks. But Apollo is just chopping these guys down. And Tony, his trainer's like, you got to stop doing this to these sparring partners, man. You're like destroying them. He's like, he tells the sparring partner, get up, just get me another one. All right. Like he's telling to get him another like human meat punching bag. Like just start filing in these humans that I could just beat to a pulp. Like it's just showing how angry and focused and destructive this guy is. And as a viewer, you're getting worried for Rocky because you're like, he's not joking. There's no more bravado here. Apollo is all business. Rocky's heart's not in it. His head's not in it. He's thinking about Adrian. We're going to see our hero destroyed. Again, Apollo's he's not a bad guy. He's just scary. He's focused and dangerous. And the movie's not called Apollo. It's called Rocky. And so our hero is in danger here because unbeknownst to him, Apollo is all business. This is a different fighter than the first fight.
What I like about Rocky opposed to Apollo, and I alluded to this on the previous episode, is the intensity. So Apollo wants to crush Rocky. People relate to Rocky is crush Apollo. He's looking at to do his best. And then there's a difference between that. And I'll tell you why I think it's better to do your best than it is better to crush somebody else. Apollo wants to crush Rocky. Okay, that's fair. But does that mean Apollo is going to become his best? So you mentioned Seinfeld before. You remember an episode where Kramer takes up karate, and he's just crushing it. He's winning every match, and he's coming back, and how good he's doing. And Elaine's like, man, Kramer is doing karate, and I'm going to join him. So Elaine goes to join Kramer, why he's doing so good or whatever. And it turns out Kramer is fighting children. You don't need to be skilled in order to beat children, right? So I know it's just a joke of comedy, but if Kramer decided he wants to do his best, children wouldn't be part of the equation.
Right. So he's winning. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying, so Kramer's winning. I'm very good at karate because I'm destroying all of my opponents, and we find out later these opponents are a third of his weight. Right.
Yeah. So we're never going to find out what his best is. Apollo's trying to just beat the Italian Stallion, where the Italian Stallion is just trying to be his best. Apollo, it could mean that he's the best in the world.
Yeah, he knows deep down. He knows that the first fight wasn't a fluke. Now, he was surprised by it. He was surprised, and it took him off guard, but he was in the ring with Rocky. To say that he was, for Apollo to say that Rocky was lucky, that's not true. He was surprised. I think it was like by round 6 or 7, he was like, oh my goodness, this guy is not quitting. And when he got up in round 14, in that great sequence in Rocky 1, when Rocky's on the mat, on the canvas, and you got Mickey yelling, stay down, stay down. And Rocky's doing all that he can to get up, to be, to go the distance. And he does get up. He beats the 10 count. And you see Apollo's face go down like, oh, you got to be kidding me. He's come back up again. That's not a face of somebody who thinks this guy's lucky. He knows that he's got a warrior on his hands. It was actually unlucky to Apollo to pick somebody who was going to go the distance. It was actually the bad luck was on Apollo's side. Oh, thanks for coughing.
I guess that's my. I apologize, but I think that's kind of my point is that Rocky was looking to go the distance. He wasn't looking to crush somebody. He was just looking to go the distance, to do his best. But I bet you dollars to donuts, if this was a real story, his goal was just to beat Apollo. When he was getting beaten, he would have felt beaten. But when you're trying to go the distance, it's a different goal. It's like, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. He's not concerned that he's getting pounded by this guy. He's concerned that he's just going to keep going. And I think that's the biggest life lesson is when you're not comparing yourself to somebody else, you're only comparing yourself to you so that you can go for it. There's a reason why the story resonates. Yes, there's good writing. Yes, there's good characters. But the underlining that emotion Stallone captures with his writing is that doing your best. So that's what I take from it. Maybe he doesn't, but that's what I take from it.
No, I like it.
So yeah, I mean, see Apollo going. He's just looking to beat, and it is scary when someone's trying to beat you.
Right.
But it's inspiring. But we're not inspired by that. There's nothing inspiring about that. It's inspiring by Rocky for him to do his best. We'll cheer for, we'll get excited because he's going to do his best. He's going to go the distance. And his motivation, too, was to provide for his family. And that's good motivation. His reasonings changed. The first one was just for his personal, go the distance. The second one is, I got to provide.
Yeah, and that's actually a very good point. And I think that's part of it, too. And I know those who've seen Rocky 2, obviously, know that when Adrian... We'll get to it, but I don't know why I feel like I'm spoiling anything, but we're talking about the motivation. In some ways, Rocky has already kind of received his gift. He just wanted to get his family out of debt, get his family back on their feet. So he's kind of like, I just got to make sure I don't die in the ring, and I'm going to get my paycheck. Because when you get the money for these fights, you get a certain amount whether you win or lose, so it's guaranteed money, and that already is a lot of money, and he gets more if he wins. And so he's already got money. Like I would suspect, I don't know, 1979 rematch championship of the world, at least $5 million. I guarantee you. If the first match was 250,000, this is a huge draw to have this rematch, right? So I would say he was probably given $5 million.
At least $1 million.
Well,
at least.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. We'll never know, but okay. So we'll go back to the uninspired train, I call it. Again, it's just showing Apollo tearing down his sparring partner. Rocky cannot work the punching bag. Rocky can't skip rope, and Mickey, poor guy, is like, "You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that." And then Rocky's like, "I gotta take a break," and Mickey's like, "Break? What break?" And Mickey is obviously Mickey's getting cheesed off, and rightfully so, because Rocky's not training hard. He's not training well at all. And Mickey's like, "Oh my goodness, you're the one that dragged me into this, and you wanted to do this fighting, and now, you're not doing it." So now we see Paulie coming to the pet store. Now this scene really bothers me. Paulie's come to the pet store to talk to Adrian. Now poor Adrian, she's lugging around feed in the garbage can. She's pregnant. This is hard on her. And like we said last episode, or 2 episodes ago, Kyle brought up a really, really good point. Adrian was mad at Rocky for risking his eye in the ring to provide millions of dollars for his family. So Adrian says, don't go back into boxing to risking your eye and some brain damage in a boxing ring for 20 minutes or whatever. I will go work at the pet shop as a pregnant woman and risk the baby and my health instead. Like, it is an interesting oversight, I think, that I never even thought of until Kyle brought it up. And I'm not trying to be like, and I love Adrian, but it is a strong argument for Rocky to say, hey, you're going to go back to work and work at a pet shop. And I think this probably shows maybe the education that was around then, that, you know, strenuous labor on a pregnant woman, especially somebody in the third trimester, I would say that it's not recommended. Am I wrong?
I'm not a midwife, doula, or obstetrician.
Okay.
However, with my wife's past pregnancies, that was the recommendation, that you kind of take it a little bit easier.
Right. So
now,
don't get me wrong. Poor Adrian, you know, she's trying to help out. She wants to protect her husband, ironically. So she wants to protect Rocky from being brain damaged or eye damaged. I don't even think they really talked about brain damage so much. It was the eye. She told Rocky that she doesn't want him to go blind. And if he does go blind, it's only going to be one eye.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I don't know. And then so she goes, so I don't want you to go blind, so I'm going to go work at the pet shop and make, like, peanuts. So Rocky's again in the ring.
People do what. Sorry, I think there's a bit of a delay. I wasn't trying to talk over you.
Okay, go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
All I was going to say. Sorry. All I was going to say is people just do. Do you know?
Right, so yeah, I did. Sorry, I was letting you finish your thought, and then I was just going to. All right, so Mickey's in the ring. Sorry, Rocky's in the ring with Mickey's in the corner, and Rocky's now with his sparring partner, and this sparring partner is just totally getting away from Rocky. Every punch is getting missed. So again, the polar opposite of what Apollo's doing. And Mickey's like, "You look dead in there." He goes, "You sick kid? Because you look dead." He's like, "What's the matter with you?" And Rocky goes, "Well, nothing." And Mickey goes, "Well, let me tell you something, kid. This is really interesting. Now, for a 45-minute fight, you got to train hard for 45,000 minutes. That's a really interesting stat. 45,000, that's 10 weeks, that's 10 hours a day. That's crazy. Say that again.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, 10 hours a day, 45,000 minutes. So I think we already see there's not enough time. Already we see with Rocky, there's just not enough time. So our hero, again, the odds are against him. And he's like, you haven't even trained 1 week yet. And Mickey's like, what are you waiting for? What do you need to do to train harder? Mickey's like, well, suit yourself if you don't know what you need to do. This is now where Paulie comes in and goes, hey, Rocky, how you doing? I've been worried about you. I've been watching. So Paulie's like, Paulie also has been watching, and he knows what's going on. He knows that Rocky's head isn't screwed on right. And Rocky offers Paulie the corner. He goes, hey, you know what? Would you like to work in my corner? Do you want to get involved in this fight, you know? And then Paulie goes, get involved in what? Watching you get murdered? And Rocky goes, I'm doing okay.
Murdered.
Yeah. And Paulie goes on to say, like, you know, my sister's got you so guilty, you're running all over the place. So we see Paulie, you know, in a weird way, he's concerned about Rocky. But at the same time, I feel like he's using this as an avenue a little bit to get cheese off of his sister, too. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Paulie.
It's Paulie. So he sees Rocky, and he kind of knows, like, if Rocky doesn't get his head screwed on right, as he says, he's going to get his head knocked off by the champion in the ring.
Well, you know, in Rocky's defense, or in Stallone's, you know that it's tough to have an excellent day at work if things aren't good at home.
Absolutely.
If you don't feel that you have that support at home or whatever, things aren't right, it's tough to bring your A game outside of your house. And so, of course, yeah.
Well, I liken it to I'm in the Navy, and when we deploy or sail, whether it's for 5 days or 5 months, same idea. If your wife, when you left, like if the sailor's wife, and this happens, this unfortunately happens, not in my Navy. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but I'm sure in some navies, when the wife when the husband leaves, the wife will say, "Yeah, why do you have to sail all the time? Why do you leave me and the kids?" And even though this guy's providing the income for the family, that poor sailor goes to the ship like, "Oh, my family, my wife, she's so mad at me." And this guy has to be working on a warship, and his head's not in the game because he's thinking about his wife and how angry she is. And but a good wife will. And I will say this is my wife, a good wife will say, "I'm going to miss you. I don't like it when you leave because you're not here. However, I support you and I love you. And I know that you have to go and we'll be here when you get back and we'll write and send you emails. You'll be missed, but I'll be okay. I'll be fine. Don't worry about me." And then the sailor goes on the ship and says, "I'm going to miss you too, but I've got a job to do. And I know everything's okay at home. My wife's got it. She's got it. She doesn't need me in the sense of like she can function without me, of course. So I'm just going to do what I need to do on the ship, and she's going to do what she needs to do at home, and that's a healthy relationship." But so the same can be applied to the ring. Obviously, Rocky's head's not on because he's thinking about home, and his warship is the ring, and he's not being a boxer right now. He can't focus on being a boxer because he keeps thinking about home life.
Yeah, and as we know, when Stallone wrote Rocky, he did not have the support of his then wife.
Yeah. Now, how many times has Stallone been married? 3 times?
So
yeah, I think
the first one, and then Bridget Nielsen, and then or Nelson, whatever her name is. I think Nielsen, and then his last one, current one.
So Mickey's now mad at Rocky. He's like, "Why do you carry around these buckets of spit? I like you better when you're doing that." And Rocky's like, "I'm going to go take a shower." And Mickey's like, "Yeah, go soak your head someplace. Soak it good." Now, this is the scene I meant to say. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. This was the scene that I'm not that... It's a hard scene. Paulie comes into the pet shop and he's like, "Adrian, where are you?" And he just lays into Adrian, like, not physically, but, "What are you doing? What the heck are you doing to Rocky?" And she's like, "Well, about what?" And he goes, "Well, about messing up the guy over there." And she says, "Don't start with me, Paulie. I'm just trying to keep him safe." So again, there's that irony, like, I'm trying to keep him safe. Paul, go ahead.
This is that it's very typical, whether it's intentional or not for the story. We'll meet a man and then try to change what that man is or what he does.
Yeah, it's
maybe for better or worse. But she met a boxer who was boxing, and then she's trying to discourage him from boxing.
Yeah, it is weird. Yeah, it's kind of cliche, but I guess rightfully so, that you have the female usually trying to change the male's way of living, and it's cliche enough that we could talk about it, and every listener knows exactly what we're talking about. People can say, "Oh, that's very sexist." Well, whatever it is, it's the reality is the fact that you can relate to what we're talking about means it happens. That women try to change men sometimes, and we're just different creatures, and certainly Rocky and Adrian are different creatures. But Paulie and Adrian have a little fight here, and Paulie's just laying into Adrian saying, "You're messing with his head." And Paulie's like, he's going to get hurt because of you. And poor Adrian's like, "It's not true." And she yells, "Don't say that." She yells that. And Paulie's like, "I'm saying it." And she goes, "Here, if he goes blind, you walk away. I can't. I love him. You don't." So these are powerful words. So she really is concerned about the blind thing. So I love Adrian, but she's kind of being a little bit short-sighted here. She keeps saying she's worried about him going blind. Well, number one, he might go blind, but it's going to be one eye. I don't try to be. He's going to get. Look, This is actually an interesting question, Ruben. Would you go blind in one eye for $5 million?
I'd have to think about that. Yeah, I think I would.
$5 million. Yeah, I would too.
I had to think about it. Okay, this is my thought process. My thought process is, okay, I'm a cancer survivor. I'll probably die young anyways. There's going to be a little left over. You know what I mean? Like, I think it'll make my family's life better. If I was a single bachelor, I don't think I would do $5 million.
Wow.
As a father, yeah, I would.
Okay, yeah, $5 million. Yeah, absolutely. Go blind in one eye. I mean, just one eye, because I would never go blind in both eyes. I don't think for any amount of money. There's too much. I mean, those are. I find the idea of being blind obviously very scary, and I admire those who go through life that way, who can go through life that way, because it's a world that I can't understand or comprehend. So, and I'm not trying to make light of I'm not trying to make I'm not trying to make light of a disability or anything. We say what's it worth, but that's kind of what we're dealing with here in the movie, though, is that Rocky's been given at least $5 million probably to fight the champ, and the risk is that he loses vision in one eye. And my response to Adrian is, "Come on, it's saving your marriage and your finances. Like, if he goes blind in one eye, there's worse trials to go through when you have money around you. I guess I don't know. It sounds terrible, but."
Do you know how many spouses care if their husband or wife went blind so that they would become a multimillionaire? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So bless Adrian's heart, that's true, Yeah. So good point, Ruben. She's saying, I love Rocky so much. I don't want anything bad to happen to him, no matter the cost. Adrian's Adrian. We love her. She's great. It's just the irony is again and again and again, we're about to see it coming up here, is that she is putting herself and the baby at risk by working hard labor in the pet shop. And now she's yelling at Polly, and she's starting to feel weak here about the yelling. She's holding her stomach, and Polly's like, "What are you doing?" And this is a terrible scene because she collapses in pain and goes to the floor. And Rocky's in the locker room, but he's got out of the shower, and Mickey's laying into Rocky, "Where's your guts? Why aren't you fighting good?" And you got a ticker problem, which means your heart's not in it. So we're about to get to the point in the movie basically where everything's low. Adrian, as we know, is about to go into a coma. Rocky is getting chewed out by his father figure and trainer. He's getting ready for the biggest fight of his life again, but now he's got his wife's in the hospital. The birth of the baby is supposed to be a special time, but now it's a stressful time. So everything is about to hit ground zero for Paulie. Everything is about to hit ground zero for Rocky, because the guy comes running in and says, "Hey, it's your wife. She went to the hospital." But this is just after Mickey's like, "Don't waste your time with me no more. Go away. Go back to the docks where you belong. You go back to being a 2-bit nothing. But don't you ever come back here again, because I'm too old to waste my time trying to train a no good bum loser like you bum." So just after he calls him a bum, his trainer assistant comes right in. "Hey, Rock, they want you across the street." And that's when Rock is like, "Why? What's the matter? Your wife's sick." And the moment he hears that, he takes off. And he takes off, mind you, wearing the tiger jacket.
It's funny.
So what time are we at here? Because this next scene coming up, it's something we could talk about for 10 minutes, or we could drag it out. But I think it's worth maybe talking about, because I think
what's the scene?
The whole coma scene, the whole coma. Let's just talk about it for 10 minutes. Let's give it 10 minutes.
Okay.
10 minutes.
Okay. What's on your finger? What was on your finger there?
Those toothpick things.
Well, why is that on your finger?
It's I fiddle with it. I'm fiddling. I'm talking. Just...
What's funny is in my hand I'm fiddling with the outlet. So is that like genetics or what?
Well, yeah, I think people are fillers.
We're like
Fiddler on the roof.
That's what I was going to say. Fiddler on the roof. Yeah.
Where I'm fiddler in the garage and you're fiddler in the kitchen. Okay, so the coma. So
well, that's where you are, the garage.
I'm back in the garage. Yeah, I'm in the garage. That way I can be. It's the one place in the house where there's no kids. All right, so now this coma scene. Let me just first say this about the coma scene. The coma scene in. Oh, there's Rutanya Elda. She just came in.
Hey, Rutanya Elda.
Rutanya Elda. So those who don't know, we interviewed this next scene in the movie. Rutanya Elda. We interviewed her in one of our earlier podcasts. She's the doctor that comes in, that talks to Rocky. She goes, "Mr. Balboa, I'm Dr. Cooper. The baby's fine. Everything though, it's a month premature. What is it?" She goes, "It's a boy." Holy smoke, Paulie says, "I didn't know you could do it." Well, how's Adrian? Where's Adrian? She's had complications, says Rutanya Elda, the actress. Rocky goes, "Like what?" "Your wife was hemorrhaging when she was brought in. The premature delivery was most likely caused by straining or overwork." There you go. "And the sudden loss of blood has caused her to slip into a coma." So we interviewed that actress, Ruben. It's pretty cool, eh?
It is. That is cool. It is cool.
So she was the one that talked to Rocky about Adrian's coma. It's funny. I think we forgot to bring that actual scene up. I mean, it's been many years since she was in herself. She's been in 100 roles. I think she talked about the scene that got cut. I think the actual delivery of the baby was filmed, and that was not ever shown in the movie. But then the scene afterwards where she talked about Adrian being in a coma. So Rocky comes in, sees Adrian zonked out like Sleeping Beauty, and he's talking to her. And it's a very look. It's very sad. It's sad that Adrian's in a coma. But I will say, as a viewer of the films, the coma sequence, I almost want to say, put me in a coma and wake me up when it's over.
Have you ever known anybody that's been in a coma?
No, you?
No, I can't think of anybody.
So Rocky's saying,
"Don't worry about it."
Yeah, it is weird. Well, it's comas are. I can't speak to them at all, but I've had questions. I think I did talk to one nurse. Like, I guess they still go to the bathroom and stuff. And they have to change them like a baby.
Well, yeah, they got to be fed, and if they get fed, then they.
Yeah, I know. We never think of those. But you never think of those things when you see the movies because they're just lying there and in a coma. And
hey, that'd be something to bring up to Axl Rose. Use Your Illusion 1, coma. Hey, you caught me in a coma. You hear that song?
Please don't sing.
Yes, singing is not really my strong suit, but
yeah, we should audio cut in the coma song "Coma" from Guns N' Roses called "Coma." It's 10 minutes long,
yes.
And that song is still shorter than the coma sequence in Rocky 2.
Well, okay, but here's the thing with the coma. So Adrian's wearing a diaper or a catheter. A diaper, I guess.
Yeah, she has to clean up.
It's the same with Axl Rose. Has he ever contemplated that he's singing a song where he would be in a diaper?
Well, he must. So there's we're already 4 minutes into our 10-minute limit. So Paulie's come and said, "Hey, Rocky, let's go see the baby." Rocky says, "No, I'm going to see the baby for the first time with Adrian." What would you do in this situation? Go quick. Would you see the baby without your wife, or would you wait till she woke up?
When I see the baby without my wife? Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, Rocky isn't. He's going to wait, which is kind of a tricky thing because can't people be in a coma for a very, very long time? Like, you go see your baby for the first time, and it's his first day in kindergarten.
I'm a man to my word. It's just the way I was raised.
So Paulie gets tired of waiting around. I'm tired of this waiting stuff. Now, there's a couple things from this coma sequence that kind of bothers me a little bit. One is why does Paulie get so upset when he comes in to bring flowers to Adrian, but Rocky's in there, and then Paulie turns around and puts the flowers outside the door instead of getting them to Adrian with Rocky in the room? That sequence I never understood to this day. Did you catch what I was saying about that?
Just say it again. I did catch it, but say it again so that I can think about it.
There's this is the coma montage.
Yeah. Okay.
So we got Rocky in the church, Rocky by the bedside, Rocky reading the book to Adrian, and then we got Rocky and Mickey sitting by the bedside, Rocky in the church praying. Then we have Mickey talking to Rocky about the fight, and of course everyone knows this scene. But Mickey's saying, "Hey, Rocky, it's 3 a.m. I know you're going through some hard times right now, of course." And they told me at the hospital, and basically said, "Look, we've got a big fight with the champ coming up. In case you forgot, but if this is where you need to be, this really shows the character of Mickey. Then I'm going to be here with you the whole time." So Mickey really shows his love for Rocky here. So this is a really cool part. And Mickey is a man of his word. For the rest of the time that Adrian's in a coma, Mickey stays by Rocky's side. Which obviously Rocky notices, but he doesn't acknowledge now. He's just focused on Adrian. And but then there's a sequence later on where Paulie, during the coma montage, Paulie comes in with flowers to give to Adrian. He opens the door, sees Rocky there, turns around, and then puts the flowers outside the door and walks away. Now you could argue and say, well, he didn't want to disturb Rocky, but Rocky would have been more than happy to see Paulie in there. I don't understand why Paulie was, I wouldn't say angry, but why he couldn't mourn with Rocky next to Adrian. Because he never does it again until he actually never does. He says, I'm tired of this waiting around stuff. We never see Paulie in there with again. That I'm aware of. I don't know, maybe he does, but it's just that scene kind of bothered me. I don't know why.
Well, maybe he thought I'd get flowers to cheer her up, and then realizes the futility of bringing flowers to somebody in a coma, and just it's like, well, what am I even here for?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so then. Mickey continues with this discussion. I'm still just on that scene here. Let's go past it. So Mickey says, well, here's the sequence right here with Paulie. I'm just going to look at it real quick. So Mickey says, I'm going to stay with you. I'm going to stay by your side, and I'm going to pray with you. So that's really cool. So Mickey's there for Rocky, whether he fights or whether he's praying, he's going to be with him. So we see Rocky holding Adrian's hand and comforting her in the coma. And Paulie comes in with flowers. He opens up the door and sees Rocky there and just turns around and leaves the flowers outside the door. I don't know. Because he seems very determined. He sees Rocky there, just hanging out there, and then he leaves the flowers outside the door. I don't get it. He looks discouraged or disgruntled, or I don't know.
Maybe it's hard to see a sister like that.
Yeah, it is. Look, it is. I mean, talking about something dear to our hearts, of course, our grandfather, when he was in the hospital, it was hard for me. I know it's hard for anybody. It's hard for anybody, but I actually do have a hard time being in the hospital. So it's actually hard for, even when when she's sick, it's actually hard for me to, I'm really terrible at just saying it's going to be okay or we're going to get through this. I actually have a hard time with sickness. I don't know why. Like, I don't know how to, it's hard for me because I just want to take care of everything. I want everyone just to not be sick. So I have a hard time when I can't do anything. So how do I cope with the fact that I can't do anything other than just wait for you to wake up from your coma? So I understand Paulie's frustration too, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe I see myself in Paulie and I don't like what I see.
Yeah, perhaps.
So time goes on. Rocky's he's reading now. And he's got a little bit of a beard going on as he reads. And his reading is terrible. I'd have to say that Rocky reading to Adrian to get, it's probably putting him into a deeper coma.
I would say that Rocky's reading is on par with Adam Carolla's or Bill Burr's. For other podcast comedian likers, those are some people that are terrible readers.
It's true. They are. I didn't know about Bill Burr, but I know Adam Carolla.
Oh,
you gave me a podcast that can't read.
Yeah.
Okay, then there's this nice part that comes up when Rocky wrote a poem about their first date. He's like, maybe you'll like it. I'll just read it to you. Remember when we was on ice skates and I thought you were supposed to be great, but I kept giving you lip and you kept trying to slip so I could catch you. That was our first date. And after that, every day was great. So now I want you to know that wherever you go, Atlantic City or in the snow, don't worry about a thing. Because as long as I got this ring, I'll always be there to catch you. It really is adorable and sweet and innocent and juvenile at the same time.
Yes. All those things.
So the next sequence, we're 11 minutes into our 10-minute, but maybe with some editing, we'll get it out to 10. So basically, we know what happens. Adrian's hand moves. She snaps out of her coma. They bring out the baby, and the baby's got this crazy hair, and that's actually Stallone's son in real life. Starts with an S too, I think.
Sage.
No, it's the one before Sage. The one that we.
Oh. Scott?
Okay, well, no. I'm just going to Google it really quick because I can edit the Googling out later. That's right. Sergey Stallone.
Oh, yeah.
I think he has special needs.
Yeah.
So, Sergey is the baby in that scene, which is really cool. So that's Stallone's real child in that sequence, which is really cool. And he's got a lot of hair. And of course, I think Mickey says, look at the hair on that kid. You know, he's got Italian hair. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
So this is a good part to end because this is where Adrian's like, you know, very happy to have the baby. Everyone's around, and she sees how much Rocky has sacrificed by waiting for her. Being, you know, she now realizes, boy, look what my husband's done for me. He does everything I ask him to do. He's by my side. He obviously loves me and cares for me, and then she just loves and cares for him just even more. But she goes, you know what? He's been willing to stay by my side this whole time, selflessly, and waited for us to see the baby together. And she's like, "Hey, there's one thing I want you to do for me. And don't worry, I'm going to audio drop this. I'm not even going to, you know, maybe I'll just say it for this part, but I'm going to edit myself out because she's so much better." But she, of course, says, "When?" And he's like, "Huh? What?" And she's like, "When?" And that's when Mickey yells, "What are we waiting for?" And so, and that sets up our next episode, which will be the training montage, 2-part training montage. It's the going the distance music and the going to fly now, jumping over park benches, flying with the birds, flying with the kids. It's got everything. So yeah,
I'm looking forward to that one. So I guess that'll probably be our next one.
Yeah, will be the next one because I don't have any interviews lined up. So for the next foreseeable future podcast listeners, we're just going to keep going the distance with Rocky 2. So the next one will be the training montage and the final fight. And I think Superfan Matt, I did promise him a long time ago, Superfan Matt wants to be part of, at the very least, he wants to be part of the Super Fight 2 fight. I promised him he could comment and commentate on Super Fight 2. That's his Rocky 2 is his favorite film, and of course the final fight is what he wants to talk about. So
looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, Ruben, as always,
right.
Ruben, it was a pleasure.
Yes. It was a pleasure, Ryan. Thanks for virtually coming over. And until next time, ding, ding. Sorry.
I hear the podcast closing music in my head right now. Anyways, hey, we got 2 viewers. Thanks, guys, for watching us here. This is great.
Going the distance.
So I don't know who you guys. I don't know who's watching us now, but hey, rock on, keep punching, and Ribbon, have a good night. And I'm gonna hang up now.
You too, brother.
All right, talk to you later.